Hello everyone! Today I'm gonna talk about how you can be more effective on the battlefield. I will try to give advice in such a manner that after this video you have an understanding on how to increase your influence on the team's performance so you can increase the chances of winning. Now I can already hear you thinking, me influencing my win chances? Bullshit! I have a team that is totally crap. I cannot carry them all, I do tons of damage, I get lots of XP. I'm a fine fleet admiral. Well, that can be the case, but for me this game revolves about one concept. Having lots of fun. And for me, winning battles is more fun than losing battles, no matter how good I perform in one of them. Also, everybody can improve. Nobody has a 100% win rate, at least not with more than 500 battles played. So let's first start with a couple of general basic things so you know what I will be talking about during the tactic part of this guide and you can implement them yourselves after this video. First of all, use that minimap. If you already do not have it at the maximum size at which it does not become disturbing, go for it. In World of Warships, this is the tool for influencing battles. During a game, never forget to look at it. Once you keep forgetting about it, you are already decreasing the chances of winning. Point 2. At the start of a battle, always check the team composition. Know what ship counters which class and where your team has the advantage in this game. Here are some general rules which class counters what. Point 3. During a battle, keep checking points 1 and 2. So keep checking your minimap and keep checking the team compositions and your team advantage. And last but not least, always try to keep communicating with your team in a constructive, helpful way. I hope for a community in which we help each other out. And I sure hope you do too. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take the map Fault Line as an example and let's do some basics. Let's take the map and let's start with crossing down some sections. You should not be here in 90% of the cases. It is that easy. From these locations you will have no influence on the outcome of the battle. Even if you kill 9 enemy ships, it will take you another 10 minutes to reach the last enemy ship or the enemy cap. Remember, we are going for the win. Not for a loss and definitely not for a draw. The 10% of the cases in which you could be there is when you're kiting a large enemy force and your team can win by capping and you can decap. Okay, with our playing field being changed a little bit, let's make some basic rules at the first couple of minutes of the battle. Do not go into the 9 or 10 line without information. This is a classic mistake. The 9-10 line is a bottleneck. You are being forced through a choke point. A choke point in which you cannot maneuver well without getting shot to pieces. A choke point which is ideal for destroyers to totally wreck you. Even if you're that destroyer, you are safer just outside of the choke point, and you can do exactly the same from these positions. So just wait a little bit, be patient and see what is coming your way. You are having some extra time now, so just check the minimap. Check what is being spotted at the moment, and now you also know what is not being spotted and could come your way through the 9-10 line. Then decide if it's smart to either push through or to rotate back so you can kite a large enemy force. When you decide to push through, keep in mind that you can do exactly the same thing at the 7-8 line. So, if that ain't a nice transition, let's talk 7-8 line. Do not go here from the start. Everyone can shoot you in the first minutes because everyone is still in base or rotating towards the 9-10 line. This is an area where you could go if you did check your minimap and see that there is not a lot of presence in these red areas. The 7-8 line itself is not that strong of a tactical position, but it could lead to positions from which you can dominate the map and control the pace of the battle. The very strong tactical positions from which you can control the pace of the battle are these islands. You can use these islands to focus out the enemy one by one, while staying in cover from the rest of the enemy team. If you do not get what I'm talking about, please click on the link in the annotation for a gameplay video in which I covered this subject. Not only are these regions tactically strong, they are also key to winning the battle. From here, you are relatively close to the enemy cap, and you are still being able to rotate back to your own cap via the same 7-8 line. Of course, always be careful when there are still enemy destroyers or cruisers with torpedoes present. Also keep in mind that you can only be here when the battle has progressed for quite a while. Most of the enemy forces in the current meta will be located either on the 1-2 line or the 9-10 line. Now let's talk about the area between the 3 and 6 line. For this region I can be really short. You can only be here if most of the enemy is killed, as it is quite an exposed area. You should only use this region to pass through. You can compare to the 7-8 line, but I think the 7-8 line is a little bit stronger as you have more cover and can control the pace of the battle that is suited for your ship. All of the vertical areas have been discussed, except for the 1-2 line. From my experience, this is, in the current meta, the most popular area to go to. The area offers a good mix between cover and open sea for each class to do well in. However, a big pitfall for many players is to find the flow of the battle. What I mean with that is that some captains go way too far out of the playing field and lose touch with their opponents. And some captains go a bit too YOLO and get focused out by their enemy. In this area, the key to success is to check if not you, but your whole team in this region has the advantage or disadvantage. If your team has the advantage, play a little bit more aggressive, but do not go in alone. If your team has the disadvantage, just kite back towards your own cap area and hope your team wins on another area of the map. So now you have enough map knowledge to determine where you as a captain can have the best opportunities. Now, I do not think tactics on a map can be done without checking the flow of the battle. So keep my first 3 basic tips in mind, which I explained at the beginning of the video. Minimap, team composition and communication. However, I can give you some advice with which routes and areas you can start. But it is up to you to determine where you should go next. Here are some suggested openers for the different classes. If you have questions about this or other maps, I stream almost every day, so feel free to stop by and check me out. I hope this video was to your liking, and if it is, you're helping me a lot by spreading the video and helping the community become better captains. See you on the open seas.